Over the last month, I did something slightly insane. I locked myself in this room and spent over 100 hours dissecting every piece of strategic data Jeff Bezos ever left behind. I tracked his early interviews from 1999, mapped out the financial wreckage of the dot-com crash, and analyzed 30 years of his private shareholder blueprints. I went in looking for a complex equation. I expected to find a hidden technological breakthrough, or a sophisticated mathematical model that took a company from a broke garage startup in 1994 to a global powerhouse handling hundreds of billions of dollars in annual revenue. But instead, I found something far more unsettling. There isn't a complex equation. There is a single, brutal framework. It's a core business law that 99% of modern founders completely ignore because it goes against every human instinct we have about safety, risk, and short-term survival. Bezos used this exact loop to systematically destroy retail giants that had billions more in cash reserves than he did. In this video, we aren't talking about surface-level motivation. We are breaking down the exact step-by-step operating system that built the modern world. And if you understand it, you can apply it to your own life, career, or business starting tomorrow morning. To understand why Amazon became an unstoppable force, you first have to understand why massive companies die. Bezos calls it slipping into day two. Day two is stasis, followed by irrelevance, followed by an excruciatingly painful decline, and ultimately, business death. But how does a successful company accidentally enter day two? It happens because of a silent killer called the proxy trap. As a business grows, it gets complex. To manage that complexity, managers create processes and performance metrics. But over time, a dangerous psychological shift occurs. The process becomes the proxy for the result you actually want. Employees stop looking at whether the customer is genuinely happy, and instead, they just make sure they followed the internal checklist. He anchored his entire empire to something that could never be corrupted by a metric. He anchored it to an unyielding concept called customer obsession. So, how do you stay in day one? How do you prevent your career or your company from rotting from the inside out? You build a flywheel based on absolute constants. Bezos famously remarked that entrepreneurs constantly ask him what is going to change in the next 10 years. He calls that a fascinating question, but a deeply flawed strategy. The more critical question to build a business on is, what is not going to change in the next 10 years? Think about it. In the year 2036, is an Amazon customer ever going to wake up and say, "Hey, I love Amazon, I just wish the prices were higher and the delivery took a lot longer"? It's impossible. So Bezos built a self-sustaining loop. Look at this architecture. Lower prices attract more customer traffic. More traffic attracts independent third-party sellers. More sellers expand the selection of products. A vaster selection improves the customer experience, which brings even more traffic. This increased volume allows Amazon to optimize its logistics, lower its internal costs, and pass those savings back to the consumer through even lower prices. Every single dollar invested in this loop pays dividends forever because it is built on permanent human desires. While 99% of small businesses are exhausting their capital trying to pivot toward every fleeting market trend or viral algorithm hack, the trillion-dollar lesson is to identify your industry's permanent truths and bury your roots so deep into them that no competitor can rip you out. But to keep a flywheel spinning at that velocity, you have to make decisions at a speed that terrifies traditional managers. And this brings us to the operational crown jewel of Bezos's philosophy, the architecture of doors. Bezos categorizes every single corporate decision into two distinct frameworks. Type 1, decisions, one-way doors. These choices are highly consequential and completely irreversible. If you walk through, the door locks behind you. If you don't like what you see on the other side, you cannot go back. Examples include selling your company, changing your core architecture, or signing a massive long-term debt facility. These require meticulous, slow, deliberate analysis. Type 2, decisions, two-way doors. These choices are easily changeable and entirely reversible. If you walk through and it turns out to be a mistake, you simply turn around, reopen the door, and walk back through. The cost of being wrong is practically zero. Here is where the 99% failure rate happens. As small businesses grow, they start treating every single minor issue like a Type 1 decision. They form committees, write reports, schedule endless sync meetings, and drag their feet for months just to change a website layout or test a new pricing tier. The result? Severe decision paralysis. Bezos's rule of thumb is simple. Most decisions should be made with roughly 70% of the information you wish you had. If you wait for 90%, you are moving too slow. In a fast market, being slow is infinitely more expensive than being wrong. If you are highly skilled at course correcting, a bad Type 2 decision is just a cheap experiment. Learn to recognize two-way doors, run through them immediately, and stop letting perfectionism kill your momentum. Executing long-term vision requires a level of emotional discipline that most people simply cannot handle. In 2005, when Bezos launched Amazon Prime, experts said he was destroying his own company. Wall Street punished the stock, screaming that he was burning capital. Having thousands of analysts tell you every single day that your life's work is a failure. But Bezos stood firm because he knew that short-term losses are the premium you pay for long-term dominance. To invent, you have to experiment, and if you know it will work, it's not an experiment. If you're building something of your own, you need to expect that isolation. Do not listen to the skeptics. Find your permanent truths. Commit to your personal day one, and make peace with being misunderstood. Build for the long game. It's still day one. See you in the next video.